Increasing levels of obesity, poor diet, and increased sedentary behavior are driving a rapid rise in the number of cases of type 2 diabetes worldwide. In 2021, 537 million adults were estimated to have diabetes worldwide, with an increasing number diagnosed at younger ages. Some 160,000 people have some form of dementia in Sweden, Alzheimer's disease being the most common, a figure that is rising with our life expectancy. At the same time, many new diagnostic methods and early intervention therapies have been developed in recent years, which foregrounds the need to identify more risk factors for the disease. In mice, there is some evidence that an unusual phenomenon in mammals called genomic imprinting impacts parenting behavior. Mammals inherit two copies of each gene, one from each parent, and usually, each copy is expressed equally in the cell. With imprinted genes, however, only one copy is expressed, either the one inherited from the father or the mother. Contrary to the commonly held view, the brain does not have the ability to rewire itself to compensate for the loss of sight, an amputation or stroke, for example, say scientists. The researchers argue that the notion that the brain, in response to injury or deficit, can reorganize itself and repurpose particular regions for new functions, is fundamentally flawed despite being commonly cited in scientific textbooks. Cambridge scientists have shown that placing physical constraints on an artificially intelligent system in much the same way that the human brain has to develop and operate within physical and biological constraints allows it to develop features of the brains of complex organisms in order to solve tasks. Pavlov proposed over a century ago that the sight, smell, and taste of food are important for regulating digestion. More recent studies in the 1970s and 1980s have also suggested that the taste of food may restrain how fast we eat, but it's been impossible to study the relevant brain activity during eating because the brain cells that control this process are located deep in the brainstem. His particular interest is in the 18th century French society. His particular interest is in the 18th century French society. The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis. The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis. Sleep is believed to play a critical role in storing memories. Sleep is believed to play a critical role in storing memories. Extension is only available under special circumstances. Extension is only available under special circumstances. The bus right out in the front will take you to the station. The bus right out in the front will take you to the station. The information you need for this meeting is on the website. The information you need for this meeting is on the website. This Thursday is the last day for students to submit their fees. This Thursday is the last day for students to submit their fees.
Students may not use calculators in the final exams. Students may not use calculators in the final exams.
The subject is complex and difficult to explain. The subject is complex and difficult to explain. The final exam covers material from all class chapters this term. The final exam covers material from all class chapters this term.
I would like the assignment less than 2,000 words. I would like the assignment less than 2,000 words. The library is located on the north side of the campus. The library is located on the north side of the campus. Facts you read, hear, or study become memories through a process with three main steps. First comes acquisition, the moment you encounter a new piece of information. Each sensory experience activates a unique set of brain areas. In order to become lasting memories, these sensory experiences have to be consolidated by the hippocampus, influenced by the amygdala, which emphasizes experiences associated with strong emotions. The hippocampus then encodes memories, probably by strengthening synaptic connections stimulated during the original sensory experience. Once memory has been encoded, it can be remembered or retrieved later. Memories are stored all over the brain, and it's likely the prefrontal cortex that signals for their retrieval. So how does stress affect each of these stages? In the first two stages, moderate stress can actually help experiences enter your memory. Your brain responds to stressful stimuli by releasing hormones known as corticosteroids, which activate a process of threat detection and threat response in the amygdala. The amygdala prompts your hippocampus to consolidate the stress-inducing experience into a memory. Meanwhile, the flood of corticosteroids from stress stimulates your hippocampus, also prompting memory consolidation. But even though some stress can be helpful, extreme and chronic stress can have the opposite effect.
Most of the world's ecosystems are the result of millennia of coevolution by organisms, adapting to their environment and each other until a stable balance is reached. Healthy ecosystems maintain this balance via limiting factors, environmental conditions that restrict the size or range of a species. These include things like natural geography and climate, food availability, and the presence or absence of predators. For example, plant growth depends on levels of sunlight and soil nutrients. The amount of edible plants affects the population of herbivores, which in turn impacts the carnivores that feed on them. And a healthy predator population keeps the herbivores from becoming too numerous and devouring all the plants. But even minor changes in one factor can upset this balance, and the sudden introduction of non-native organisms can be a pretty major change. A species that is evolved in a separate habitat will be susceptible to different limiting factors, different predators, different energy sources, and different climates. If the new habitat's limiting factors fail to restrict the species' growth, it will continue to multiply, outcompeting native organisms for resources and disrupting the entire ecosystem. Species are sometimes introduced into new habitats through natural factors, like storms, ocean currents, or climate shifts. The majority of invasive species, though, are introduced by humans.
What do we call the first meal of the day? What do we call the first meal of the day? Breakfast. What is the process of teaching and learning called? What is the process of teaching and learning called? Education. What does the black square represents? What does the black square represents? Students. Who is a person that makes bread, cakes, and pastries? Who is a person that makes bread, cakes, and pastries? Baker.
What is someone that can't see called? What is someone that can't see called? Blind. What do you call the middle of something? What do you call the middle of something? Center.